They said Jacob Fatu would never turn his back on Roman Reigns. They said the Samoan werewolf was bloodbound to the tribal chief for life. Well, guess what? WWE just threw the entire wrestling world into absolute chaos, and if you're not watching Monday Night Raw right now, you're missing the most explosive betrayal in modern WWE history. Jacob Fatu, the most dominant force in the Bloodline, just walked out on Roman Reigns and joined forces with Seth freaking Rollins and The Vision. And let me tell you something right now, this isn't just another storyline twist. This is WWE completely rewriting the power structure of Monday Night Raw, and Roman Reigns loyalists are losing their minds in the comment sections across every wrestling platform. But here's what's got me absolutely furious, and you should be too. WWE kept this massive storyline shift completely under wraps until the last possible second. No dirt sheets broke this story. No insider reports. No leaked backstage footage. They pulled off the impossible in 2025, a genuine surprise that's got wrestling Twitter in absolute meltdown mode. Now before you start typing fake news or clickbait in the comments, which I know half of you are already doing, let me break down exactly what went down on Monday Night Raw that has the entire WWE universe divided right down the middle. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this move is either the most brilliant booking decision WWE has made in years, or the most catastrophic mistake that will destroy everything we love about the Bloodline. The night started innocently enough. Seth Rollins was in the ring cutting one of his trademark promos about the Vision, his grand plan to revolutionize Monday Night Raw and bring it back to the top of WWE's brand hierarchy. Classic Seth, right? Talking about how he's the Monday Night Messiah, how he's going to save Raw from mediocrity, and how nobody in the locker room has the courage to step up and join his cause. But then, and this is where things get insane, Jacob Fatu's music hit. Not Roman's music. Not the Bloodline's music. Jacob Fatu's solo entrance music that we haven't heard in months. The entire arena went dead silent. Even the commentary team, Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and Pat McAfee, were completely speechless for what felt like an eternity. Jacob Fatu walked down that ramp with a purpose we haven't seen since his debut. No Bloodline members flanking him. No Roman Reigns giving him orders from the back. Just pure, unbridled Jacob Fatu energy that reminded everyone why he was called the most dangerous man in wrestling before he ever stepped foot in WWE. And here's where it gets even more controversial, Seth Rollins didn't look surprised. At all. The camera caught this subtle nod between them, this acknowledgement that sent conspiracy theories flying across social media. Had this been planned for weeks? Months? Was Seth Rollins working behind the scenes to fracture the Bloodline from the inside? Jacob grabbed the microphone, and what he said next will go down as one of the most shocking promos in Raw history. He looked directly into the hard camera and said, "Roman, you think family means blind loyalty? Seth showed me that family means respect." The arena erupted. Half the crowd was cheering, half was booing, and you could literally feel the energy shift in that building. But Jacob wasn't done. He continued, "The tribal chief treats me like his attack dog. Seth Rollins treats me like his equal. The choice was easy." And then, in front of 14,000 people and millions watching at home, Jacob Fatu extended his hand to Seth Rollins, and they shook hands in the middle of that ring. The wrestling world exploded. Twitter crashed for 15 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. Hashtag Jacob Fatu betrayal was trending worldwide within 20 minutes. Wrestling fans were having complete meltdowns. Roman Reigns loyalists were calling it the worst booking decision since ever. But Seth Rollins supporters were celebrating like their team just won the Super Bowl. And you know what makes this even more infuriating for traditional wrestling fans? This actually makes perfect sense when you think about it. Jacob Fatu has been criminally underutilized in the Bloodline. Roman treats him like hired muscle. Solo Sikoa barely acknowledges his existence. The Usos have been doing their own thing. Jacob Fatu, arguably the most talented wrestler in that entire faction, has been reduced to standing in the background looking intimidating. Seth Rollins saw that frustration and exploited it perfectly. He offered Jacob something Roman never did, a featured role, main event opportunities, and most importantly, respect as an equal partner rather than a subordinate soldier. But here's what's got longtime Bloodline fans absolutely livid: this move potentially destroys the most dominant faction in modern WWE history. The Bloodline has been the central storyline driving WWE programming for over 3 years. Roman Reigns built his entire championship reign around the unbreakable bonds of family loyalty. And now Jacob Fatu, the muscle, the enforcer, the guy who made the Bloodline truly unstoppable, just walked away like it meant nothing. The immediate aftermath was pure chaos. Roman Reigns didn't appear for the rest of the show, but backstage reports suggest he was furious. Solo Sikoa looked completely lost during his backstage interview. The Usos seemed genuinely confused about what this means for their future. The entire power structure that WWE has spent years building just crumbled in one 10-minute segment. And social media went absolutely insane. Die-hard Roman fans were posting essays about how this ruins years of storytelling. Jacob Fatu supporters were celebrating finally seeing him break free from Roman's shadow. Seth Rollins fans were praising this as the smartest recruitment in wrestling history. The wrestling community hasn't been this divided since the Montreal Screwjob. But let's talk about what this really means for WWE programming going forward, because this isn't just about one shocking moment. This is about WWE completely restructuring their entire main event landscape. Seth Rollins and The Vision just became the most dangerous faction on Monday Night Raw. Think about it, you've got Seth's incredible in-ring ability, his mic skills, his natural leadership qualities, combined with Jacob Fatu's raw power, his Samoan heritage, and his connection to wrestling's most important bloodline. This is a combination that could dominate WWE programming for the next 5 years. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns and what's left of the bloodline are in complete disarray. Roman's entire character has been built around the concept that blood runs thicker than water, that family loyalty is everything, that the bloodline is unbreakable. Jacob's betrayal doesn't just hurt Roman strategically, it destroys the very foundation of everything he represents as the tribal chief. And here's something that's got wrestling purists absolutely enraged: this move potentially sets up the most personal, most emotional Roman Reigns storyline we've seen in years. Roman's going to have to face the fact that his leadership style pushed away his most valuable ally. He's going to have to confront his own arrogance, his own failure as a leader, his own responsibility for the bloodline's collapse. The match possibilities are absolutely endless. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns in a singles match? That could main event WrestleMania. Seth Rollins and Jacob Fatu versus Roman and Solo Sikoa? That's a pay-per-view main event right there. The storytelling opportunities WWE just created with one handshake are incredible. But here's what's really got me fired up about this entire situation: the wrestling media completely missed this story. Every major wrestling newsletter, every insider source, every backstage reporter was focused on completely different storylines. WWE worked the entire wrestling industry, and that almost never happens anymore. In an era where every storyline gets leaked months in advance, where every creative decision gets reported before it airs, WWE managed to keep this massive storyline shift completely secret until it happened live on television. That's either incredible security or incredible last-minute decision-making, and either way, it's brilliant. The immediate fan reaction has been absolutely electric. Wrestling forums are crashing from traffic. YouTube reaction videos are getting millions of views in hours. Wrestling podcasts are recording emergency episodes. This is the kind of water cooler moment WWE has been desperately trying to create for years. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Jacob's betrayal opens up storyline possibilities we haven't even considered yet. What happens when the Usos have to choose between Roman and their family's newest rebel? What happens when other bloodline members start questioning Roman's leadership? What happens when Seth and Jacob start recruiting more disgruntled WWE superstars to join the Vision? WWE just created a storyline that could dominate programming until WrestleMania 42. The ripple effects of Jacob's decision will be felt across every division, every championship picture, every major storyline for the next 2 years. But here's what's got Roman Reigns supporters absolutely furious: this move makes Roman look weak. The tribal chief, the head of the table, the undisputed leader of WWE's most dominant faction, just lost his most important ally to a rival faction leader. Roman's entire character is built on respect, fear, and family loyalty, and Jacob just proved that none of those things were strong enough to keep him in line. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins just proved he's the smartest manipulator in WWE. He identified the bloodline's weakness, Roman's arrogance and treatment of Jacob as a subordinate, and he exploited it perfectly. Seth didn't need to fight Jacob, didn't need to defeat him, didn't need to embarrass him. He just offered him what Roman never did: respect. The long-term implications are staggering. Jacob Fatu joining the Vision doesn't just change the Monday Night Raw landscape, it potentially changes WWE's entire direction. Seth and Jacob could become the new power couple of WWE programming. They could hold multiple championships simultaneously. They could recruit other superstars and build their own dynasty. And let's talk about what this means for Jacob Fatu individually, because this is his opportunity to finally break out as a main event superstar. For too long, Jacob has been overshadowed by Roman's championship reigns and Solo's push and the Usos' tag team success. Now Jacob gets to be a featured player in WWE's biggest storylines. This is Jacob's chance to prove he's not just Roman's muscle, he's a legitimate main event talent who deserves championship opportunities in marquee matches in top-tier storylines. Joining Seth Rollins and The Vision gives Jacob the platform he's needed to showcase his incredible abilities. But the wrestling community is completely divided on whether this is good storytelling or catastrophic booking. Traditional fans argue that breaking up the bloodline destroys years of character development and storyline investment. Modern fans argue that this creates fresh matchups and prevents storylines from becoming stagnant. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but WWE just proved they're willing to make bold creative decisions that shake up their entire programming structure. They're not afraid to sacrifice comfortable, predictable storylines for shocking, controversial moments that get people talking. And people are definitely talking. The comments sections under every wrestling video are absolute warfare right now. Roman supporters versus Seth supporters versus Jacob supporters versus traditional wrestling fans versus modern wrestling fans. It's complete chaos, and WWE is loving every second of it. This is exactly the kind of unpredictable, controversial storytelling that makes wrestling must-see television. When was the last time a single segment generated this much discussion, this much analysis, this much passionate debate among wrestling fans? WWE just reminded everyone why they're the global leader in sports entertainment. So what happens next? How does Roman respond? How does the Bloodline move forward? How does the Vision capitalize on their newest member? Will other WWE superstars start choosing sides in this brewing war? All we know for certain is that Monday Night Raw just became appointment television again. Every wrestling fan in the world will be tuning in next week to see the fallout from Jacob Fatu's shocking betrayal. WWE just created their biggest storyline controversy in years, and we're all along for this incredible ride. The wrestling world will never be the same after tonight. Jacob Fatu joining Seth Rollins and The Vision isn't just a storyline twist, it's a complete revolution that will define WWE programming for years to come. And if you're not watching every single week from now on, you're going to miss the most incredible storyline development in modern wrestling history. What do you think about Jacob's shocking decision? Are you Team Roman or Team Seth? Did WWE make the right call breaking up the bloodline? Let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button if this video got you as fired up as it got me, and subscribe to WWE Reporter for all the latest breaking news and analysis from the world of sports entertainment. This story is just getting started, and you don't want to miss what happens next.